Hey everyone, this is Jairo Morales from The Grind Fitness and welcome to my channel. On this channel, you're going to learn how to take care of your body while we do this wonderful sport called Jiu-Jitsu. Everything from joint strength training classes to mobility classes, as well as yoga and many other professionals to teach you what is the best path for you and your Jiu-Jitsu journey. If you haven't already, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. You know what to do. Share this with somebody if you think this might help the community to be able to take care of their body for their journey on Jiu-Jitsu. Oos, guys. Hope to see you on the mat.
Hey guys. Sorry, I'm a little slow on the draw here. I wasn't paying attention. We are live. Welcome to another Recovery Sunday with Wellness for Jiu-Jitsu. If you don't know me, I'm Tyler Rentz, Submission Yogi. I go by. Been doing yoga and Jiu-Jitsu for a good decade now, and the combination of these two things are what I love. We are donation-based yoga, coming at you for free, and we rely on your support for our survival, even if that's clicking the like button, sharing it with a friend who might use some yoga in their jiu-jitsu life. That's not to say if you don't do jiu-jitsu, you can't benefit from this yoga. For sure, it's good for everyone. So, all of that said, we are going to do my favorite rehab yoga sequence. This is something after some hard training that I love to do, and I think a lot of people can benefit from as a recovery practice after jiu-jitsu to get your body back in line, to strengthen the parts that need to be strengthened, stretch the parts that need to be stretched, and kind of have a maintenance program for after training to keep your body feeling good, because that's what we're about here at Wellness for Jiu-Jitsu, training hard and feeling good. So if you're not here already, come join me in this hero's pose, kneeling passing position, really good knee compression, stretching the top of the feet. It's just so you can see, you can face whichever way you feel good, probably facing the front of your mat. And we're just being nice and heavy here. If it's uncomfortable, you can use a blanket or some kind of props to get your hips up a little bit higher. Just starting here with a nice straight spine and bringing your awareness into your body, your attention to the space around you, settling in and taking 5 nice big deep breaths here, relaxing on the exhale and growing nice and tall on the inhale. Count 5 breaths to yourself with your nose if it's possible. Next inhale, bring those shoulders up. And then exhale and drop them down. Awesome. Let's tuck our toes, move into a little foot stretch, still sitting up on top of your heels. Use your hands to make some adjustments and try to get those toes to stretch evenly. If you got little pinky toes, reach back, untuck those, get balanced, and we'll spend another 5 breaths here and bring some movement into the neck. Maybe starting with some big circles. Nice and slow. If you feel a spot that needs some love, spend a second there. Take a breath. Getting out some little clicks and pops. If you're feeling good, you can move a little faster, do both directions. Listen to your body. That's what recovery yoga is all about. Relaxing, calming the nervous system, breathing deep, and seeing what your body tells you in these different positions. That might mean you need to back out of a pose. Maybe your feet are burning. This is too intense. You can let it go. We're not trying to stress at all. Staying relaxed. That's what allows your body to heal itself. Great. Untuck the toes now. Sit back to your heels. We're going to recline in this hero's pose. Walking your hands behind you. Find that place where you start to feel a little compression in your lower back, and then really open up your shoulders, lift your chest. You can even engage your glutes and lift your butt up a little bit to bring the stretch into the quads. If you're comfortable here, moving with your body and your breath. If you can't breathe or you feel your breath sticking, don't need to go any deeper. Maybe we're back on our elbows. This is about my limit. Some people lay flat back with their whole back on the ground here. Explore, and then once you get to a nice spot, take some big deep breaths. Another nice option for a foot stretch is to lift the knees, stretching the top of the feet, kind of balancing there. It's really important to have good flexibility in your feet. In general, it's good for ankle and knee health. And in jiu-jitsu, it's going to help you to not only survive foot attacks, but also just have better balance on your bare feet. Stability. The ability to spread your toes is huge. Take one more big deep breath and slowly come up out of that pose. Walk yourself forward and come all the way down to your belly. Rest your belly, chest, head on the mat for a second. Maybe tap out the top of your feet. Maybe roll your ankles if your feet are feeling a little stretched. That's good. And then we're going to lift the chest, come up onto our forearms in this Sphinx pose, a nice gentle back bend. Spread your fingers wide. Make sure your elbows are underneath your shoulders. A little bit of compression in the lower back. A nice gentle lifting sensation in the chest, kind of drawing forward. See if you can feel your spine extend. This is spinal extension. Find a comfortable position for your neck, or maybe even bring some movement into your neck. Most of us jiu-jitsu players have tight necks, maybe even some neck injuries. There's a lot you can do moving the small joints when you hold these more passive stretches. You can also work into the wrists here, bring some movement into the fingers. Keep breathing deep. You can wiggle the hips side to side. This is a pose, we call it a Yin Pose, a pose you can spend 5 minutes in and explore the sensations, even in stillness, that every breath make in your body in this position. This is a really nice one for counterbalancing our natural rounding forward, punching that we do not only in jiu-jitsu, but driving or sitting at a computer screen, being on our phones, our shoulders are rounding forward. So in this pose, we draw our chest forward and maybe even pinch those shoulder blades together a little bit. And breathe into the chest. Take one more big breath. We'll come up out of that pose into a tabletop. Hands and knees, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Toes can be untucked. Find that neutral spine. And then let's articulate the spine, dropping the belly, arching the back, looking up, sticking your tailbone up in the air. Take a breath here. This is the cow pose. And then on the next breath, arching the back, tucking the tailbone, dropping the head. Take a breath. Now moving back and forth between those two. Extension and flexion of the spine. Think about having a string running through the center of your chest. It's being pulled up to the ceiling on the cat pose as your tailbone and head drop, and then gets pulled down to the earth. Center of your chest, belly go down, head, tailbone go up. Find a pattern of breathing. If it feels good, keep doing that. If you want to try something else, try bending to the side. That means head and tailbone go one way, and that center of the spine go the opposite way. Kind of like you're wagging your tail, wagging your head, making a C shape with your spine. Just for fun, flip your hands palm face up, fingers towards each other, giving yourself a little wrist stretch, maybe making some fists, and then get creative with your spinal movement. You can do a hula hoop type motion, or just roll around on your knees, kind of lubricating our joints here. This allows us to stretch. Maybe we get some nice cracks and pops. Having a loose spine, really important. Really helps you feel good. Flip those palms back. We're going to go from this tabletop into a lunge. So let's kick the right leg back first. And then bring the foot forward. Bring that knee towards your chest. See if your foot come all the way between your hands. Maybe you got to help it forward. Heel toe your foot forward until it's in between your hands. And then adjust your back foot, back knee, so that you feel a nice stretch in both sides of your legs, the right back of your right leg, front of your left leg. Maybe you're up on your fingertips. Maybe you're down on your hands. Engage those muscles in your legs and see how it changes the sensations in the stretch. Once you found a nice position where you want to hang out for a second, take a couple breaths in stillness. Allow those hips to open up. And then straightening the right leg, walking your hands back, lifting right toes until you feel a little stretch in the back of the right leg. And then come forward again. Whole foot to the mat. Straighten right leg, walk back, maybe lean forward over that leg. Really nice movement, mobility, stretch. Back and forth, to and fro. Go with the flow, flow with the go. Enjoy it. making the stretch a little bit deeper, you're welcome to stay here, find something that feels good, or adding a twist by planting your left hand nice and strong, and then opening your chest up to the right, maybe pressing your right hand on your right knee. Keep those hips sinking low. Keep your shoulders dropping away from your ears, not hunching, opening up in the chest, twisting from the lower back. And then we're going to go for a foot grab here. Step one is to just bend your back leg. See how many cramps that creates in your leg. And if you want to test your flexibility, reach back, grab your left foot with your right hand, and then sink back into the lunge. Your grip can come to the outside of your foot so that your right shoulder can peel open for a twist. Can be an intense stretch. See if you can relax as many muscles, especially in your face. Make your breathing deep and long. Let go of tension in your neck. No matter where you are in this lunge, let it go. Come back to a tabletop, moving slow and controlled. Keep breathing. Do a little spinal movement, maybe a cat-cow to reset before we move to the other side. And then kick the left leg back to the wall, up in the air, and then bring the left foot between your hands. Do what you need to do to get it there. Boom. And then adjust your back knee so your hips feel good. Both the back and the front of the opposite legs are getting a nice stretch here. If you're rounding in your shoulders, think about opening up, lifting, and leading the forward movement with your chest. That might mean adjusting your hands. Blocks can be nice things here, maybe on your fists. Using your fist is always a nice way to relieve pressure from your wrist. If you got wrist locked or your wrists are just sore, use your knuckles. Make little adjustments with that back leg, and then take big, deep breaths. Into a twisting lunge. Sometimes people have sensitive knees here. You can take your mat and fold it over itself and give yourself a little knee pad. It's kind of nice. Little trick. Make that right hand solid, strong into the mat. So you can open your shoulders up to the left side. Check your fingers of your right hand. Are they spread nice and wide? See if you can press the pointer finger mound into the mat. It's going to help protect your wrist and make your hand strong and flexible too. Opening the left shoulder up to the ceiling, hand on your knee. Sink those hips. If your front foot, the inside of your front foot wants to open up, you can stretch your hip here a little bit. If you want to go for the next level, kick the right heel towards your butt. Ooh, yeah. I get cramps every time I do that. So nice. Reach back with your left hand, grab your right foot, and then sink back forward. Keep breathing. Put a little smile on your face here. Nice job. Let that go. Moving slow back to your tabletop. And we're going to press back into a squat. So put your feet a little bit towards the edge of your mat so they're a little bit wider. And then walk your hands backwards until your toes catch your weight and your knees lift. Your butt goes to your feet. And now you test your ankle flexibility here. See how able you are to sink back towards your heels. And if your chest and head are rounded, start to lift your chest. Maybe you're up on your toes here and get that back nice and straight. And then sinking back to the heels into this deep squat. And depending where you are on your mat, if you're on the back of your mat, see if you can rock side to side to the point where you can lift one foot and take a little walk, a little squat walk to the front of your mat. And we're going to go from this squat into a standing forward fold. So your hands connect to the mat in front of your feet. And as your head drops, your belly stays heavy on your thighs. Your hips lift up and your legs start to straighten, but only as straight as allows you to keep your belly to thigh connection. Wiggle your head, neck is loose. Straighten one leg at a time. Grab opposite elbows with your hands and let your head hang real heavy with your belly connected to your legs. No strain in your lower back, just a gentle stretch in the back of your legs. And the feeling of gravity pulling on your spine, making it longer. Breathe. I forgot to tell you to turn your toes forward when you stand up. So if your toes are out to the side from your squat, make them forward, parallel with your mat. We're going to go back to that squat. So turn your toes out as you sink your hips down and look up, head up, deep squat, elbows inside of knees, open your hips. Move a little bit side to side, then find a stillness in this deep squat. Last week's class was all about the deep squat. This is a game changer of a pose. Not comfortable for everyone, of course, but there's lots you can do here. It's really good for your body. All right, let's roll back up through that standing fold again. Belly leg connection, head drops heavy, toes turn forward, hips lift. Take a breath. And then inhale, let's come halfway up, hands to your hips. Look forward, exhale, and then inhale all the way up to standing. You can stay facing the front of your mat. I'm going to turn to face you. Take your hands to your hips. Check in with your feet. Put them in a good alignment under your hips. Lift and spread your toes. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Let your hips rock side to side. Feel it in your ankles. Then press your hips forward, just gently, not too hard. And start to move them in a circle. Big hip circles. These should feel real good. Knees, ankles, and hips. Both directions. And then going into a side stretch, arms out to the sides, open your chest, and then arms up. Grab your right wrist with your left hand and lean to the left. Send your hips to the right. Take a deep breath. Feel that rib cage open on the right side. Then come back to center, switch your grip. Right hand, left wrist, hips to the left, lean to the right. Listen to your body here. Go side to side a few times, moving with your breath. Back to center, stand up nice and straight. Arms to the side, to your hips. Walk your feet out to a straddle. Heel toe until you just start to feel a little bit of sensation here. That might mean you're not too far up. Or maybe you're really flexible and you want to go wider. No problem. Find what feels good for you. And we will fold forward. So first get the weight back into your heels. Lift your toes. Don't lift the balls of your feet, just your toes. And then feel all four corners of your feet connect as you lean forward. Hands to the mat. Take a breath halfway down. And then exhale and let your head drop. Hands can start to walk towards between your feet. Or you can grab opposite elbows. It's real easy to pull your lower back here. So keep that core just a little bit engaged and don't go down too far, but really stretch the back of your legs here. Head hangs heavy. Then with your hands on the mat, come back halfway up. And then we're going to find some movement here. So you might need to adjust the space between your feet for this movement, but we're doing half squats or side to side movement. So you can start small, bending one knee at a time, straightening the opposite leg as that knee bends, sending your hips side to side. Big deep breaths. I also call this the ninja kick. And as you bend that knee more and more, you can start to lift the toes of the opposite foot, come onto the ball of your foot. Good compression of that knee, hip mobility. The next level is to do this with no hands. Slow and controlled wins the race here, strengthening our joints. And the next level is to keep one foot flat, your squatting foot flat, and then you can even try to keep both feet flat and get a nice stretch into your ankles. Try not to round your back too much. Keep that chest drawing forward, the shoulders coming back. Side to side. You can chill on one side for a little bit. Find a little movement here. Ninja karate kick stance. Awesome. Back to center. Wiggle your hips a little bit. And let's come to our butt. So heel toe your feet together into a squat. You guys are still facing this way. I'm going to join you. And from a squat, arms out in front of you and fall to your butt. Boom. Hover here, balancing on your butt. Grab the back of your thighs. And let's rock and roll. So that means rolling out your spine. Keep your chin tucked. And use your legs for momentum. Giving your spine a nice massage. Working our way into upside down guard. So if you're not comfortable with upside down guard, you're not comfortable past this position, use your hands on the mat, elbows on the mat to keep your hips floating. Support them with your hands. If you're comfortable here, your arms can come overhead, and you can let your legs drop towards the mat, feet towards the mat. If you're not comfortable on your neck, stay on your shoulders here. Your neck should be able to lift up and move freely, no problem. It's a nice massage for your shoulders. You can let your knees swing a little bit side to side, putting pressure onto each shoulder. Feels really nice. Check in with your breathing. It's definitely more tricky to breathe in this upside down guard position. But if you feel like you can't breathe, you're probably a little bit too deep. Back out a little bit. There's more levels to this. Your knees can come all the way down to the mat by your ears, and you can start to put more weight into your neck. Only if it feels good for you. Don't push it. It's not the goal. I'm trying to heal our bodies, but getting comfortable upside down, it's a great way to reverse the blood flow, stretch the back and spine, massage the shoulders, and develop a level of comfort with a position that can be really helpful for guard retention. And slowly let your hips come down to the mat. Let's do a bridge. So feet to the mat, kind of close to your butt. Lift your hips up. Maybe squeeze your glutes, maybe relax your glutes. Do both. Take a couple breaths here. Come up onto your shoulders. Your hands can be by your ankles, overhead. Let that go. Let's do it one more time. Option to grab your ankles with your hands, just making a connection, and then lift your hips, walk the shoulders under, really lifting the chest up, lifting the hips up high. Taking big deep breaths. And then let your hips come back to the mat. Bring your feet together, keeping your shoulders heavy on the mat. Recline Cobbler's pose. We'll end with this nice, gentle hip opener, just letting gravity allow your knees to fall towards the mat. Your arms rest out to the side, palms face up. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath. And take a big deep breath in through your nose, sigh it out through your mouth. One more time, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just find some stillness here. The stretch in your hips feels good. Stay with it. If you're really uncomfortable in your hips, straighten your legs so that you can relax as much as possible. This last pose, we're a couple minutes over a half hour, 6:34. So depending on your schedule, stay here as long as you can, just breathing and relaxing. Your body heals itself, and you absorb the benefits of all the positions that we went through. It's a moment of observation and even some gratitude. peace. I'm out of time. If you are too, straighten one arm, roll over that arm, press yourself up into seated, and just give yourself a second with a straight spine and your hands resting gently. At least a couple breaths of seated meditation as you say thank you to yourself for giving yourself this moment to recover. And we thank you from Wellness for Jiu-Jitsu, Submission Yogi. Click the like button, subscribe, join us next week, 6 p.m. Eastern. Every Sunday, Recovery Sundays. Thank you. Oos. Namaste.